Now, the Duval Rundown, driven by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, home of the lifetime warranty.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Duval Rundown. I'm Hayes Carline. Please be joined with good friend Mark Long. Mark covers the Jaguars for the Associated Press and does a wonderful job and has for a while now. Mark, how many home Monday night games have you had in your Jaguars tenure, which remind me began in what year?
2004.
Wow.
And it's not many. I would think, I think it's 3 or 4. They had a few under Jack Del Rio, but not a lot since then. That's for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this one is pretty gigantic for a Week 5 game. The Jaguars actually come into the game with a better record than the Chiefs. Just before we get into the nuts and bolts of Monday night's matchup, just give me your overall thoughts on what you've seen from Liam Cohen, Tony Baselli, and James Gladstone so far.
You know, there's proof of concept already. It's come together nicely. They should be 4-0. They should have won last week's game, by 30 points probably when you're +4 in takeaways and you get 10 points on special teams. So there's a lot to like. You got to love the physicality of this team. You got to love kind of the camaraderie of them. They got some stuff figured out. They got rid of the dysfunction of what we've grown accustomed to in Jacksonville, and it's showing on the field. And it just goes to show you that when you're all on the same page and when, everybody kind of pulling in the same direction, this stuff really can turn quickly. So I really there's so much to like about them. You certainly love the way the offensive line's playing. You got to love the way the defense is playing. The running game is obviously greased up. There's a lot to like, and they're a tough out. They're going to be a tough out for everybody they face, including Monday night against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree. And the run game is sort of what I wanted to break down today with you, because to me, it's really their only path to victory, I think, Monday night. I just don't think you can expect the Chiefs, who've only turned the ball over once this season, and that should have been a touchdown. Mahomes hits Kelsey at the goal line against Philly. He bobbles it. The Eagles intercept it. So they really haven't. I mean, they've been a remarkably clean team in terms of protecting the football. So hard to imagine they come in Monday night and cough the ball up multiple times, or certainly 3 or 4 times, like the Jaguars have regularly been producing. So absent that, and before I don't want to assume that, do you feel like they can force 2 or 3 turnovers off Kansas City?
I do. And the reason why it's not because of Kansas City, it's more because of the Jags. And I thought it was interesting yesterday. Josh Hines-Allen was very much, hey, listen, you can talk all day about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs and 3-time AFC champs, and they've been to the Super Bowl so many times. This is about us. We are who we are, and we're doing what we're doing. And one of the things they're doing really well is knocking the ball out and getting hands up at the line of scrimmage, tipped passes. I think all three of Devin Lloyd's interceptions have come off of tipped balls, whether it be at the line of scrimmage or down the field. And then the other thing, that everybody in the locker room says they're doing so well is punching the ball out. Foye Alukon's got a knack for it. Dennis Gardeck's got a knack for it. Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, if he plays, they got a knack for coming in with heavy hands right on the ball. And I don't care who you are. That's not an easy thing to prepare for. And even if you're really good at not turning it over, you get to a defense like this, that's their mentality, is to be violent when they're approaching the football, and they're feeling confident about their approach. I mean, anything can happen. I would not at all be surprised if this team didn't force another 2 or 3 turnovers and really put the Chiefs in a bind like they haven't been in all season.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I've been thinking about it more from can you force Mahomes into picks? But you're right. When the Kansas City Chiefs, when the ball carriers have it, maybe you get a couple forced fumbles, and that's your path to a multiple turnover game. So they have been doing a wonderful job of that, no doubt about it. You mentioned Trayvon Walker. We know Liam Cohen said yesterday at his press conference that he underwent surgery, but described him as day-to-day. What is your vibe? He didn't practice yesterday, But Liam also said, I don't need to see this guy practice to play him Monday night. What's your early vibe on whether Trayvon Walker will be active for this game?
Yeah, talking to Josh Hines Allen in the locker room, you got the sense that he's not going to be able to play, that Trey's out, and that they're going to go with Smoot and Agba in some sort of combination on that side of the ball. But, I talked to some other people in the building yesterday, and you got the sense that if the swelling goes down, he's swollen right now, right? He had a procedure on his left wrist to get that thing back together, to put the bone back in place, I believe. And if the swelling goes down and the pain subsides, they can absolutely wrap it to the point where he can play with a club, maybe, from hands down to his wrist and really protect that wrist. But first and foremost, they got to get the swelling down and the pain down. You're not going to put him out there, and try to do more harm or put the guy, put the guy in some sort of agony for 3 hours. So I think they're going to probably play it smart. When you're 3-1, you're playing a little bit with house money, right? Especially with an easier part of the schedule coming up. So I would think you'd be smart here. Give the guy a week. Let the swelling really subside. Let the pain get down, and then you reassess for next week's game. But it's also could be very strategic to not rule him out. So many days before the game. Make the Chiefs keep guessing into Monday, right?
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense, and it'll be really interesting to see if they have them available, because I think that obviously is a huge difference in the game. Nothing against Smoot, and Smoot's been good. Agba's been sort of disappointing, but nothing against them. But I like them better in that 20 snap range more than the 55 snap range. So we will see, and again, at least there's hope for Trayvon Walker, and again, even if he doesn't play against Kansas City, at least you get the vibe that he doesn't have to go on IR. He's not going to miss the rest of the season. That it is something that he can return from pretty quickly. By the way, you can follow Mark on Twitter X at AP Mark Long. AP Mark Long, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I encourage you to do that. Looking at this Jaguar run game, they do. Maybe you're right. Maybe they force a couple fumbles. They get 2 or 3 turnovers off the Chiefs. But if they don't, and again, Kansas City's only turned it over once. I think the Jaguars are going to have to run the ball at an incredibly high level for a multitude of reasons. But they have shown the ability to do it, obviously, at an elite level. They're 4th in the NFL in rushing. And the Chiefs haven't been particularly strong defending the run. I think they're like 22nd in the –
I think that's right, 22nd.
Yeah, 22nd against the run. They allow 127 yards per game. So obviously it's there. Why do you think the ground game has been as effective as it has been so far?
Well, it's a combination. It's really Liam Cohen. He comes in with, some great formations, some great schemes that, they've got these guys in a really good position in their zone blocking scheme to do great things. So I think it's, solid coaching. Let's not forget how dysfunctional it was on the offensive side of the ball last year when you've got, 2 offensive coaches who didn't even speak to each other during game plan. They just refused to talk to each other. How do you game plan anybody or anything with any level of success when you've got that kind of dysfunction in your building? You can't. So they are aligned on that side of the ball. Liam Cohen's got a great offensive mind. Surratt's done a good job with the offensive line. They have the guys in place who come with a little bit of nasty. And I'm not, they don't have, Tony Baselli out there. They don't even have Cam Robinson out there. But let's not, Hainsey and Macari and Anton Harrison, they come with a little bit of edge. Ezra Cleveland, they have a little bit of edge to them. And I think we're seeing that. And then the other thing, I think Travis Etienne has been just revitalized. It's a contract year for him. He knows it. Everybody around him knows it. And he's got 394 yards, averaging 6.1 yards a touch, which is very impressive. And then, Bashil Tutin's been fantastic too. I actually want to see more of him, not because I don't think ETN's getting it done, or I don't think ETN can handle the whole load for the season. I just think Tutin's shown enough that he probably deserves more back there. But I'll say this, they're going to run right at Chris Jones. They are going to try to wear his butt out by making him play the run, tackle, do those kinds of things in the middle of that defense. They don't necessarily want him, greased up, coming at him, chasing points, right? And him coming after the quarterback on every down. They want to run at him, wear him down, keep him off guard, and then see what happens in the second half.
Yeah, and it's good that they actually have a plan for Chris Jones and are showing that level of respect as opposed to, well, you only really have to block him once or twice a game anyway because he loads.
The quote I got yesterday was he's the best player on their defense, even still at his age.
Yeah,
so that's hard to
argue. I mean, you watch the Chiefs are on all the time, so we see them a lot, and he's an incredible player. And any time he's seen the Jaguars, he's tossed around linemen like rag dolls. So I think what you're saying, though, I mean, that's encouraging because that is what you have to do. Is you have to frustrate him, you have to run it right at him, you have to try and slow him down, and get him frustrated. And I think they can do it with this ground game. LaQuinn Allen, I think, is a big piece to this too. Maybe not so much running the ball, although he's had a couple nice third down conversions this year running the ball. But I think a massive challenge is going to be what Steve Spagnuolo will throw at the Jaguars, the legendary Chiefs defensive coordinator. And boy, this is a big test for LaQuinn Allen, who's been wonderful in terms of how high his football IQ is for a rookie in that third down back roll. But he's going to see some blitzes that he probably hasn't seen yet, and that probably nothing's going to be on film that Spags has put on film yet that he's going to deploy Monday night. What a big opportunity for LaQuinn Allen, because if you don't hear his name in a negative way Monday night, he's a star. I mean, he's been exceptional already, but if he can handle what Spags is going to throw at them on third down, boy, that would be really impressive in my opinion. What are your thoughts on LaQuinn Allen's progress?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been everything you could imagine from a rookie and then some. It's one thing to come in and run the ball as a rookie running back. It's one thing to come in and catch the ball as a rookie running back or help on special teams. What this guy is doing is one of the most intricate, detailed, difficult things to do as a veteran, 10-year veteran, let alone as a rookie, who's not playing a ton except on that down. But he's an exceptional blocker, an exceptional reader of the blitz, picking up the blitz, finding the guy who's the most troubling. Like, it's one thing, you get two or three blitzers, you got to pick the one, right, who's going to be closest to the quarterback. He's done a fantastic job. And really, the sky's the limit. This guy is only going to get better, not only at that, but in the other aspects that they're going to ask him to do down the road. He's been one of the big surprises, I think, for all of their draft picks. I would probably say he's probably atop the list of, what you've gotten versus what you expected to get. He's been fantastic. And you're right, it's going to be a big part of this game, big part of how they're going to attack the Chiefs. They've got to be able to be stout up front and pick up those blitzes. I think I found out, it was funny yesterday, Liam Cohen said he faced Spags last year and he couldn't believe he zero blitzed him 3 straight downs. I just thought, I mean, that gives you an idea of what could be ahead for Trevor Lawrence and company is, you're just going to get zero blitzed 3 straight downs. I mean, that's just unheard of in the league. It's one thing to do that maybe on third down. It's another thing to do that on 3 straight downs. So the Jags have to be ready for everything, and certainly LaQuinn Allen will be based on what he's done the first 4 games.
I want to get a prediction from you on how effective you think the Jaguars will be running the ball Monday night. But before we let you do that, Jacob, let's hear from our sponsor, please.
I'm Rick Ballou, Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jaguars. Drive with confidence. Every new vehicle comes with our exclusive lifetime warranty. 7030 Commonwealth Avenue or online at jackswest.com.
So, Mark, the Jaguars are averaging 144 yards per game. If you had to ballpark it, what kind of level of success do you think they'll have Monday night against Kansas City?
Yeah, I think they think they can run against them, and I think they will run against them. I would not be at all surprised if it's in the 140 to 160 ballpark. That's what they're shooting for. 5 yards a carry. That's really what I look at more than the yards per game. I'm looking at yards per carry. The Jags are averaging 5 and giving up 3.9. That is a huge differential. Yeah, it's a huge differential. They've given up 1 rushing touchdown. They've run for 4. Probably could have had a lot more. They've left a lot of points on the board out there. But, it starts with that's where it starts for this team. Their ability to run the ball, because they got drop issues at receiver, although it was much better last week. They got issues at quarterback in terms of Trevor's missing guys or not throwing the ball. Guys are open and he's missing some guys down the field right now, not even throwing it, right? There's some thought in behind the scenes of, hey, you got to throw that ball. It's not going to, you overthrow it. It's not going to be an interception, and there might be some thoughts about, has he been for 2 years, hammered into don't turn the ball over, don't turn the ball over. Is he scared now to maybe take some shots down the field, afraid of not turning it over? I don't know that, but I think, he's still getting comfortable with this offense. So when you've got a quarterback who's still figuring it out and you've got some receivers who, who knows where their confidence level is, it's young. They're young at receiver, right? For sure, with Hunter and Brian Thomas is only in his second year, and Parker Washington, got some youth there. So it is on this ground game. That's their bread and butter. That's who they are. And by the way, that's their identity. They want to be a ground and pound, physical, beat you into submission kind of team. So how that goes is how this team will go. And you saw last week where it wasn't, or 2 weeks ago against Houston, it wasn't great in the first half. They really got stymied up front. Houston was doing a little bit different things than what they expected, but you saw them, they adjusted in the halftime, and all of a sudden we're able to run the ball. I think this team, as long as it stays healthy, can run the ball against anybody in the league.
Yeah, and I agree. Because of what you're saying, I have tons of confidence in Liam Cohen. I've been super impressed with his offensive system and how he employs it, and how the offense has rallied and embraced it and executed it. So I agree with you. I think they're going to be able to run the ball consistently throughout the season, particularly if they do stay healthy. But I have been disappointed in Trevor Lawrence's play. It does feel like, whether it's, and I'm not saying it can't get better, but boy, it seems like he isn't taking the shots, and he's been hurt by drops. Don't get me wrong on that either. So it's not just Trevor, but this feels like a game, forgetting how you feel like he's played in the first 4 games. I mean, the numbers are gross. I mean, he's like 58.3% completion. He's 5 touchdowns, 4 picks, 75.2 passer rating, which puts him, I think, 28th in the NFL. So it's been a poor statistical start for Trevor. This would be a great opportunity on national TV and playing against, with Mahomes on the other side, to go after those deep shots. I mean, you got to think, with Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, there's been opportunities to do that. And do you think that this will be the game that he does kind of take the governor off and rips it a little bit?
Well, fingers crossed, right? It's overdue at this point. I think the coaching staff has to be at least questioning, when's the light going to flip on? When is he going to start doing some of the things we want him to do? Yes, drops have been a problem, but more than that is, and the one pressure I think in the week 2 against, was it Cincinnati, where he would have had a touchdown pass to
Hendrickson beats Walker Little. Yeah. Yes.
And he has a touchdown. He has Hunter wide open. That would have been a touchdown. Week 1, go back to Carolina. Guy makes a great play on, again, a little underthrown, but a guy makes a great play. J.C. Horn on a ball that should have been a touchdown. So there are plenty of touchdowns out there, or at least several more, that he should have had drops in the end zone for sure. The numbers would look a lot better with those. But again, what I think the more concerning thing is, go back to last week. He had Travis Hunter twice behind the defense. open, wide open. And there are people in the building, basically shaking their heads. He's got to throw the ball. He's got to throw that ball because that's the one thing they're missing right now. And this is the reason last week was tooth and nail despite being +4 in takeaways and in the turnover differential and getting 10 points on special teams. The biggest difference is they're not hitting explosives. If this team starts hitting explosives, look out, because then they're beating everybody by 10 and 15 and 20 points. That is the one missing ingredient for this offense is explosives. And there's only one guy to point your finger at and say, okay, this is the trigger man. This is the guy who gets it done, and it's Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, everybody's fingers are crossed, hoping, waiting that he figures it out and he starts throwing the ball downfield. He's got to be gaining a little confidence, right? Even though the numbers aren't great, the wins help. The defense is playing at an unbelievable level. The running game is certainly is cooking right now and humming. So all of that says, hey, Trevor, you're safe in the pocket. It's all good. Get the ball downfield. By the way, he not only was he not hit, he wasn't touched last week against, on the road, cross country, San Francisco, good defense, untouched for an entire game. First time since 2015 that the 49ers have gone through a game without touching the quarterback. Some of that might be Bosa missing, but I don't care. I don't care if you put in, 11 practice squad guys on defense. Somebody's going to get to the quarterback over the course of a game. And for that that says a lot about the offensive line. There's a lot about what Liam Cohen's scheming, but it also, you look at the numbers and you go, okay, Trevor, when he's not getting touched, not getting pressured, not getting harassed, he's got to put up better numbers than that.
Without a doubt. Mark Long of the Associated Press, kind enough to join us today on Duval Rundown. Again, you can follow Mark at AP Mark Long, and I would encourage you to do so. Great stuff. Mark, give us a prediction if you'd like, or just how you think this game will play out as we get closer to Monday night.
Yeah, I'm taking the good guys at home. I think this franchise, for as long as I've covered, has always played well in primetime. Part of that is when you don't play a lot of primetime games and then you get a primetime game, you see it. I think it's human nature to go, this is my shot. This is my stage, right? So I just think, this is another primetime game for Kansas City. This is an unbelievable opportunity for Jacksonville to go to tell the world, we are here, we're not going away, and we're going to be a factor in the AFC. So I would expect them to step up and play really well on both sides of the ball. And I would think this has got to be, it'll be 24-20 Jags.
Wow, that would be an incredible night. And boy, the city would really be on fire if they're able to take down Kansas City Monday night. It'll be a lot of fun. Mark, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We will be back on Monday for Duval Rundown. Frank Frangie will join us then as we put together our final thoughts for a huge night. Jaguars, Chiefs, Monday Night Football. Doesn't get any better than that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mark, great stuff. Thank you so much. We will look forward to seeing you guys on Monday on Duval Rundown.
Thanks for having me.